Hey, what's going on, guys? Aaron Goldsten here. And in this video, I'm going to answer the question, is school useless? Is it worth going to school? Is it worth going to school and getting a degree? Or is school just a complete waste of time? Well, I will tell you for a fact that school is a complete waste of time and you should not go to school. But let me go ahead and explain why this is. Let's go ahead and look at some history. So at the end of this video, you know exactly why this is, and you can take this information and explain it to your friends and family or anybody else that you run into. So what we got to do is we got to look at history, right? And way back in the day, we had the agricultural age, right? And back then, I want to say about 90% of people, they were farmers. They had their own small business, right? The people would farm. There'd be the bakers. There'd be the candlestick makers. Everyone kind of look after themselves, and that lasted for hundreds of years. And then what happened from that period is we transitioned to the industrial age. People started coming out of the farms. People stopped owning their own business, and they started going to work for these massive companies, right? Companies were making railroads at the time. What happened was, companies started coming out to where they would make machines that would do what people could do more effectively. So instead of you needing 100 people, and I'm just throwing this example out there, but instead of you needing 100 people to take care of a farm this size, you could have 5 people taking care of a farm this size because you had all these inventions and tools and machines that were allowing you to be more productive. So what happened was, it was kind of common knowledge that, hey, if I worked in a farm, my dad worked in a farm, grandfather worked in the farm, great-grandfather worked on the farm, I'm going to work on the farm, son is going to work on the farm. And maybe the same thing if you owned a bakery, right? If grandpa owned a small bakery, dad owned a small bakery, I owned a small bakery, my son's going to own a small bakery, his son's going to own a small bakery, etc., 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 etc. Well, what happened was these companies started coming about and started producing machines, and they started getting big, and they started hiring thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, and some of them even tens of millions of people, these massively big companies. So all of a sudden, I didn't have to, let's think about this from a logical standpoint, right? If I owned a bakery, a little small bakery, I was stressed out, I had to worry if, maybe there were some months where business would be bad, I might be working 60, 70 hours a week just to get by, maybe a lot of stress, got to deal with the accounting and taxes, even though back then taxes were obviously nothing to where they were now and all the regulations that we have now, but that is for one of my other videos that you can find in the archive, or I keep the other videos in my YouTube channel. So what happened was I'd say, well, you know what? I'm just going to close down this bakery, go work for this really big company, because this really big company, they've been around, they're really big, they're not going anywhere, right? They're going to pay me really good. I'm not going to have to worry about the stress of owning a business. I'll work 40 hours a week, I'm going to get a steady paycheck, and I'll go home and be happy. And that's what people started to do. And then what happened when I had a kid, I said, hold on now, son. Just because all the past generations were bakers, you're not going to be a baker. What I want you to do is I want you to go work for one of these massively big companies. That way you got, job security. You're going to have a steady paycheck. You'll be able to support your family. The company's going to take care of you. They're going to have great benefits, retirement benefits, and that's what you're going to do, son. And that's what we know would happen, right? My grandpa, he worked for one company. I believe it was one company for like 35, 40 years, worked like 40 hours a week, retired. Obviously back then, if you've seen my other videos, the dollar went a lot farther back then. So worked 40 hours a week, had a house, a couple cars. My grandpa's wife, my grandma, stayed at home. They went on vacation, debt-free, saved for retirement, all that good stuff, right? Well, after the industrial age, we transitioned from the corporate age, which was kind of that's when it really got in people's mind that what you do is you go to school, you get good grades, that way you can get a good job at one of these massively big companies, you go work for them, and they're going to take care of you, life's going to be good, you're going to have job security, everything will be great. Well, something happened that we haven't adjusted for yet. And that is in 2000, we transitioned from the corporate age. And if you don't recognize the corporate age, we transitioned from the industrial age / corporate age to the information age. And in the information age, the rules have changed. In the information age, it's all about things like technology, and you have to look after yourself. No longer can you rely on big big companies and big businesses. And in the last decade, in the last 20 years, not 20 years, sorry, in the last 10 years, we've seen 20 million jobs go from the United States to other countries. And then one of the reasons for that is because the United States has all these stupid regulations, and it's just cheaper for companies to produce things in other countries. It costs $30 an hour to manufacture a good here in the U.S. It costs $1.36 in China. So we see all these companies going over to China. You can't be mad at, you can't be mad at the company for it, right? But you probably know people that have had big, good jobs with factories, and they lost those jobs because those factories are going over to China because it's cheaper to produce things over there in China. So what's happening is you have all these big secure companies going over to China and other places, and then you have technology taking over. I was trying to hire this lady to work for me, and she only wanted to work because she wanted to get paid underneath the table because she was getting money from the government for being unemployed, so I ended up not hiring her. But what she used to do is she used to be someone that answered phones at a school. She was doing that for, I think, like 20 years or something like that. And what happened is they got a program that did it. So now they don't need her to do it. They got like an automatic program that does it. So you have the information age kind of destroying jobs, and then you have all these things happening in the U.S., all these regulations and stuff that's making it cheaper for companies to produce things in other countries. And because of that, we have all these jobs that are disappearing. And because of that, we don't need to follow the rules, right? That's why you see so many people my age. They go to school, they get a degree, and then they become a server because all these jobs are going overseas. So in today's age, what you need to do is you need to be able to look after yourself. You need to be able to look after yourself, and you either need to be able to start your own business or do something to where you're going to be productive and you're going to be looking after yourself. No longer can we really rely on a big company to take care of us anymore. But people don't get that, so they're still going about the old way, right? They're still doing things like going to school, getting good grades, because they think just because 40 years ago you could go to school, get good grades, and get a good job, it still works today. And it doesn't work today. And like I said, if people just open their eyes and they see what's going on, they see all these people that used to have, I forget which company was the largest employer of people, but now it's Walmart, right? Walmart's not known for paying people well. Walmart's the largest employer of people in the U.S. Walmart's not known for paying people, giving people good salaries and great benefits, right? But people still don't get that, so they're still doing what they thought is the best route to do it. But I'm here to tell you that it's not the best route. Now, a couple other things is the school system is about 50 years behind. So they teach things that are not relevant anymore. And you know this to be true, right? Because you go to school and you learn things like math by hand. Now, why in the world would you need to know math by hand, right? You would not need to know math by hand. Now, about 50 years ago, if we didn't have calculators and all this technology, you would, right? You'd have to be able to solve problems. If you were an accountant, I took an accounting class, right? Tell me how stupid this was. You can relate to this. I took an accounting class, and we had to learn exactly how we take this number and we put it here, and then we do it by hand here, and then we move this over here, and it was 20 different pages to get this answer. Well, if you're going to be an accountant, I'm going to explain something to you. If you're going to be an accountant, you're never in your life going to have to do any of it by hand. There's going to be a program which you can put the number in here, press a button, and it's going to do all that for you. If you go to work for any company in the world, they're going to have programs. Why? Well, very simply, the company wants you to be as productive as possible. The company isn't going to want you to spend 10 hours getting one answer when you can take the number, put it in a program, press the button, it's going to do it for you. That's because we're in the information age and we have technology taking over, which happened in the year 2000. But because the school system's 50 years behind, it doesn't get that, right? That's why you do things in school that you know you're not going to use. You know you're not going to use in the real world, but you still learn it. I remember going to school and I asked multiple teachers this in all my different classes. I'd say, why would we learn this? And a lot of times they would say, we don't know. We don't know why you need to learn this, right? We just know that we have to teach it. Well, how stupid is that? How stupid that the teachers in multiple classes are admitting that the junk they teach you, you're never going to use, but you have to learn. That's just completely stupid. You see my Illuminati shirt. I believe there's a couple other reasons why, they teach you stuff which is irrelevant, but I'm not going to get into that in this video as well. But let's see, there's a couple other reasons too. And then, of course, you have school being too expensive, right? You have the government, which is giving out loans, which is making the cost of, they're giving out student loans, right? So because of that, it's more expensive than it should be for kids to get loans to go to college. Way back in the day, what used to happen is people would go to college, they would work a part-time job, and they would pay for their college, pay off their college as they were working their part-time job. Well, we don't see that anymore because whenever the government gets in, the government gets in, they approve loans for a ton of money, and then what happens is they approve these loans, and then the cost of school keeps going up, and people think the price of school, college, is going up because the quality is going up, and it's simply not the case, right? And just so you guys know, if one of the common excuses is, private schools are, just a little bit more money than, I guess a public school, right? I don't, if you go to one of these top-of-the-line colleges, again, I don't know. I own a couple businesses, and I don't go to college or anything like that, but, one of the things you'll hear people say is, oh, well, you go to one of these private schools, and, the private schools are just a little bit more than the public school, so it can't be, I'm still getting a good education just paying a little bit more, and it can't be that overpriced. Well, it is overpriced because what happens if you've got the government out of the way, and you let kind of the free market take over, right? And people, and businesses would be saying, hey, is it worth me, if people are coming to me trying to get loans and I'm a bank or whatever, some sort of institution that gives out loans for colleges, I'm not going to give away college tuition that's this high. I'm only going to give it this high. So what's that's going to do? That's going to, if all these people are not getting approved for high amounts and they're getting approved for less amount, that's going to drop the cost of college tuition. And then these private schools that are priced all the way up here, I don't know, $30,000 a year, whatever, they're going to have to come down in price as well. So you kind of have that working against you, right? I think college is fine if you need college to do what you need to do, right? So if you're going to be a nurse, well, yeah, you got to know how to, you got to know how to inject the needle in your arm. Now, I think it would be better. I know for a fact it would be better to not go to college, just kind of be an apprentice under someone. There's no reason to pay a whole bunch of money and learn stupid stuff that you don't need, right? Because if you go to college, I went to college for like 6 months and you got to take all these extra classes. It'd be more effective not to do any of that, to go to school, and you don't even have to go to 12, not even the 12 years of school. That's stupid as well, right? Think about all the things you learned in high school and middle school and elementary school that you didn't need. You should learn basic math, how to write, how to read. There's no reason to take biology. There's no reason to take complicated math. There's no reason to do any stupid stuff like that at all. Just get the basics out of the way, and then if you want to go be a nurse, there should be programs out to where, you go follow a nurse for a little bit, you learn different things, and, you get some basic education, but you just focus on being a nurse. There's no reason to learn other stuff. You learn how to take blood, what it means, what happens if this happens. You being an apprentice under a nurse for a little bit, and then boom, you become a nurse, right? That's what used to happen way back in the day, and that's what should happen now. There's no reason to think about how stupid what's happening now is. And I don't even know if that was a complete sentence, but just go along with me. You go to 12 years of school. 85% of what you learn in elementary, middle school, high school, you're never going to need, right? Dissecting a frog, who cares? If you want to, I don't know what you want to do, but if it has nothing to do with cutting people open, there's no reason in the world for you to ever dissect a frog. There's just no reason at all. There's no reason to do complicated math because we have calculators. Again, school system is 50 years behind, so back then didn't have calculators. So you got to learn by hand. No reason to do any of that now. Then what people do is they pay an extremely high amount of money to go to college, where the majority of the junk you learn in college is stupid stuff you're not going to learn anyway. You're not going to need anyway for your degree. And then people that get a degree in something, they're dramatically in debt. They can't find a job because all the jobs are either disappearing because technology's taking it over, or the jobs are being shipped over to places like China, and then they end up being a server. So they got $30,000 worth of student loan debt, which now you can't, if you file bankruptcy, it still stays with you, and you're being a server making 12, 15, 20 bucks an hour with tips, and when you could have just became a server right away and skipped that college part and you're hoping, oh, eventually I'll get a job and I'll work my way up and all. Yeah, no, just don't worry about that anymore. The best thing to do now, so what's the solution, Aaron? Well, the solution is simply, if what you want to do, I can't change how the system works, right? So if what you want to do requires you to go to school, Aaron, I just want to be a teacher. I want to be a professor. I just my passion. I think I'm going to love teaching. All right. Well, I guess go to college. But if you go to college, go to the community college. There's no reason to pay $1 gazillion and go to, all these expensive colleges, which is just going to get you dramatically in debt. You don't want that. Go to the cheap community college, right? And then there's the people that say, Aaron, I don't know what I want. I'm just going to go for my general eds. Well, if that's the case, don't go to college. I dropped out of college. I'm telling you, college is stupid, right? You can go watch other videos and they're going to try to be nice. I'm just going to tell you, college is pretty pointless. No reason to go to college. What you should do is just go get a job, figure out what you want, and then from that, if you decide you want something where you need college, then go to it. But, there's a lot of people. Google right now, I was just reading this article, how Google, good company to work for, right? If you're looking for a job, it's not the easiest thing to own a business. A lot of people just prefer jobs. Google is now hiring more and more people without college educations because they're realizing the link between a college education and someone that is more productive and going to be, just a harder worker and all that stuff is really not that relevant. And they're realizing that a college degree doesn't really mean that much now. So because of that, companies like Google are hiring more and more people just with a high school degree. So if you're looking, that could possibly be something you're looking for. But I would never, ever recommend anybody go to college unless they know they have a deep passion for exactly what they're doing, for exactly what they want to do, and it absolutely requires college. Now, if you want to open up a business, that does not require college, all right? I know some people, they want to open up their own business, and they think they got to go to college to get up. Yeah, you don't have to do that at all, right? I would not recommend that at all. I would recommend buying different books on business and, researching it, learning how business is, and then you can just start your business from there. And a lot of businesses, you can, not all businesses, but a lot of businesses, you can just start right from your home, especially with the technology that we have today. We're in the technology age, so we might as well use technology to benefit us, right? So, I talk to my sister, she wants to be a baker. She wants to open up her own bakery, and she says, Aaron, I'm going to go to college to learn how to be a baker, right? So I say, well, you could do that, sister. Or what you could do is just read some different books on business, kind of understand how business works. Then you could just start a bakery from your, from your house, as long as you have all the regulations in place. I don't know what the regulations are, but I do know that you could go out there, you could get an LLC, right? You could get all the paperwork, right? You can get a lawyer that can get the LLC, a DBA if you need a DBA, EIN number for taxes, get an accountant, so we can show you exactly what to do and how you write off stuff, see what the regulations are. You could probably start a bakery from your house. And then you could make food from your house. And you could probably market online. It's pretty cheap to market online, right? If she wanted to make like organic food. So you could probably market online to people that are local in the, I'm not saying probably. You can market online to people that are in the area that are searching the internet, interested in local organic food, right? There's all different ways once you learn different marketing techniques. Then you can market to those people. You learn how to market, you learn how to advertise yourself, and you start to sell them stuff, right? And then they come to your house, or maybe you deliver for a fee, and you got some basic stuff that you do, and you build up a client, a database of people. Once you're making a lot of money, then maybe you go get a little storefront, right? Now, you don't have to get a big storefront right away and spend $1 gazillion. You could maybe maybe you go to the local Trader Joe's or Whole Foods and you just rent out a little section of their store, and then you grow your business from there. And again, then you develop more customers, you get bigger, and then boom, you go get your own storefront. But, just because you're opening up a business doesn't necessarily mean that you got to spend $1 gazillion right away to start it off. How much would it cost to start your own business from your own house if you're going to be a baker and you wanted to make your own food? I'd say to get some advertising going, to get the legal stuff set up, to get some ingredients, to Maybe you got to get some certificates. I don't know. I'd say probably not more than a few $1,000s, right? And I'm probably pretty sure you either have a few $1,000s, you could borrow from a family member, you could take out a loan, right? So we can kind of think small and work our way up. My other sister, she wants to be an interior design decorator, so she's going to school for that. So if I wanted to be an interior design decorator, what would I do? I wouldn't go to school for it, right? Now you could, but I wouldn't. I would I'd find people that were interior design decorators that were really good at what they're doing, really good at the craft. I'd buy some books on it, watch some YouTube videos, learn what they're doing. And then what I would do is I would find someone in the area that's an interior design decorator. I'd call them up and I'd say the following. I'd say, hey, what's going on? My name's Aaron Goldsten. You have no idea who I am. My goal is to be an interior design decorator. I see that you're an interior design decorator. I would love to work with you or for you to kind of learn what you're doing so I can get the craft down. I'm sure if I called a handful of people, someone would say, yeah, right? And I could either go to work for them, or I could spend maybe 6 months or a year following them around, maybe kind of being their little assistant, right, and doing things for them and learning what they're learning, seeing how they're doing it. And then what I would do is I would just start to advertise myself, right? I'd get a little, again, learn some marketing and advertising strategies, which you can just learn from, different books and programs and things like that. I'll learn how to market myself. I'd get a little website set up, get a little Facebook fan page set up, start targeting people in the area. Get an email list, start sending out emails, get people's emails that are interested in what I have. Learn all that marketing and advertising stuff. And then what I would do is I'd start getting clients, right? And I'd start building my name for myself. And then I'd get them to refer people to me, and I would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would just do it from the comfort of my home without going to college, without spending a gazillion dollars, without graduating college being in debt, right? Now, there's, if you love school and you love the idea of, if you want to be an interior design decorator, right? I want to go to school, I want to learn what they're teaching in school, then go ahead. I just want to show you there's other ways to get what you want to do without going to school, because I believe school is a waste of time and is a waste of money. So that's pretty much what I got for this video. I think I kind of summed up why I believe school is useless and school is a waste of time, and why school is outdated, and why I would say 99.5% of people, to accomplish their goals, they probably don't need to go to school. So that's what I got for this video. Aaron Goldsten signing off.